wisselen van links met de commandant van de secretair van de historische grond. Dat betekent
It's the least we can do. Pay respects to people that never made it out. Some of them never made it to the ground. It's an immense feeling being here.
Well, to commemorate all these brave lads who suffered greatly during these September, so there's only like 2,000 came out, really, out of 10,000 votes. It's a lot of.
It is a brotherhood. It's a privilege to be with the lads and to have joined them. It is.
You know all about them, don't you?
Yeah.
Birth to sort of into the 70s and 80s, what they are now.
Yeah. Watch them grow, watch them change. Went, through various roles. Ended up as paracommando, and it was a privilege being with them. On and off the field, so to speak.
Well, I live here and I want to be safe here in Holland. And no war anymore. So we have to teach the children to be good for each other and make a better world.
Yes.
Yeah?
I'm here because I'm a member of the Airborne Forces Riders. I served 5 years in the Parachute Regiment before moving on to other stuff. We always come together at this time of year for this because it's a very important event. I'm Regional Secretary of the Parachute Regimental Association, and one of our aims is to not only increase the membership to promote the Parachute Regimental Association for those young soldiers that will be leaving. Because when people leave the army, there's normally a hiatus where they say, I've had enough, I don't want to come back. But then they start realizing that there are things missing. And when that happens, that's when the PRA steps in the battle. And that's what we do. We, as a charity, we help any former airborne guys that have issues or problems. We have a camaraderie, we have a brotherhood, and we are there to promote the ethos of the regiment all the time.
I served with 3 para from the 70s till early 80s. It feels really good. We're a part of the Airborne Force Riders. We come to pay our respects to the soldiers that died on the withdrawal on the outskirts of Arnhem, etc., when they were washed away by the river trying to escape. Yeah, this is my 5th time here, in between COVID. And we're lucky today, we've got the sun. Usually it's pouring down, but this is the most guys we've seen jumping in a long time. It's been really good, and it's just good to come to see. We come to see our Dutch counterparts here, the Red Berry Riders as well, and we also have words with them. It's really nice. The Parachute Regiment is obviously a big part of Arnhem, etc. We all know that. This is why we're here. But we come to pay our respects and keep with the Dutch. And it's important that the Dutch people, and they do non-stop, remember what's happened so it won't repeat itself. It'll always be good. And that's basically why we come, to pay our respects there.
It's good. I mean, it's here. You come and meet guys you haven't seen for 20, 30 years from the old squadron and the Parachute Regiment guys. And it's just good to meet up with guys you haven't seen for so long time. And it's just like yesterday. You just have a bit of banter and you have a good laugh and a few drinks and you then go away. And you won't meet them then for another few years. It's just to come back and just equate with your old army mates. And that's what it's all about, comradeship. And talk about your friends who've passed on and stuff like that. I mean, when you look at the numbers and the sacrifice that the guys did, we were supposed to hold for 24, 48 hours and they held out for over 5 days. And it just shows you what the guys were made of and the determination to obviously free the Dutch from the Germans at that time. And even though they lost that particular battle and it was a great withdrawal, the Dutch don't feel that it was a loss to them. And the Dutch, when we come here, they have a high regard, and you can tell it, the respect the British phenomenally. It's a great feeling. The Dutch themselves they really look after us.
Herdenken is verlossen, staten op het Noordoost. Er wordt ieder maand reconnect missions opgevoerd. Take together
I'm here to commemorate and pay tribute to those who fell on the Netherlands ground, and to show respect for every military serviceman who did part in the battle. I'm wearing the glider pilot regiment to pay tribute to every man who served in this military branch. I used to know 2 of them, and they sadly passed away, so it's very important for me to wear this uniform. I'm feeling very emotional because it's two kind of sense, because I'm very happy that people keeps being there to remember them, and the other part is to make, yeah, as you said, pay tribute to some branch that people probably forgot them, and let a mark to the present to remember the past.
I wanted to show my children the memorial here. I guess pay our respects because of the things that happened here. That they came to help us and liberate our country. And my youngest wanted to see the king, so that's also a big reason to be here. I guess because we find it important. We're into history. My mother is from Arnhem, and she always took me and my brother to the memorials. So I guess that's what I want to do with my children.
Well, firstly here to see the landing zones and where the paratroopers and men of the Glider Pilot Regiment landed 80 years ago in 1944. On the 18th September, buried my great-uncle, Lieutenant Dermot Green Anderson, who was a glider pilot, and his remains were found 2 years ago in a field near Oosterbeek Church. Hugely emotional, hugely humble as well, to see those brave men from so far away and what they did and what they achieved. And thoughts go out to those who never made it home.
Why I'm here, because we're all veterans at the Chelsea Hospital. We have a lot of connections with the Parachute Corps, and we're obviously devoted to what they've done and the service they gave, and we want to come over and pay our respects.
Absolutely fantastic. Seeing people, well, you can just see everyone's having a great time. Ex-members, ex-paratroopers, ex-servicemen, just absolutely fantastic time. People from Netherlands just enjoying the day, respecting what they've done, or the guys what they've done 8 years ago.
I'm here, obviously, for the 80th anniversary, Market Garden. I'm a former paramedic. My connection with all this, obviously, I served in the Falklands, so I have a very close affinity with what's gone on. To be amongst like-minded people, so many like-minded people, it's beyond words. It's the second time I've been here. I came for the 75th. Unfortunately, I was on a private trip that last time, and we couldn't get down to the jump area to Eid last time, so we missed all this. And to see it now, it's absolutely fantastic. See the aircraft coming in, it brings it all back. As soon as you've seen the aircraft, you were saying, I wish I was up there, I wish I was jumping, simple as. But obviously, the knees don't do it these days.
In YouTube.
I think we always will remember them.
Well, that's it. And that is a wonderful thing.
Thank you.
No, I'm honoured to be. Hello, oh, you shake my hand and give me a what you call it. Yeah. they said that's how a fashion shaking hands. You got to do that.
Very good.
Hello, sir. Thank you very much
you're welcome.
for freedom.
I honestly thought you were going to kiss me then. Are we getting woody?
A photo?
Yeah.
Can we take a picture?
Yeah, by all means.
Daar, hè?
Can I shake your hand? It's a great honor
Yeah.
to meet you, and thank you. Thank you so
Me,
much.
my dear, I'm honoured to be here, aren't I?
Sure.
I love this because the Dutch people are so friendly and they think I can come from England and talk to what I call my Dutch family.
Yes, yes.
And I've been coming 10 years now, and
For 10 years.
10 years, and it's always the same. It gets better and better.
Yes. And today
I'm
it's 80
serious.
years.
People will come up and say, I met you last year. I can't recognise them, but after they did, we can remember, you know, it's wonderful.
Yes.
Oh,
I remember things from the war, sitting on my mother's lap, for instance. And while they were bombing, I asked her, do you like to have a child on your lap? We were both afraid. We were in the cellar at that moment.
Do you have any other memories
From the liberation, especially that there was an old guy who picked up one of the candies right in front of me. I was disappointed. I didn't get the candy. But I also remember the military groups with their tents. They were sitting there in the park. They had small tents and they were shaving with their brushes and scratching their beards off. And they brought us chocolate and Swedish bread, white bread. So I remember that because I was ill, I was in bed and I could watch out of the window and see them there, which was quite interesting to me.
So how do you feel being here today, the 80th?
Well, it's too busy for me. Too many people.
Well, how do you feel emotionally thinking back 80 years?
Well, I think of my dad, and yesterday night I took out his report of our last days in the cellar. So that was emotional for me to listen and to hear what he said about the bombing of the house while we were in the cellar, and the sounds of the things that were coming, like plop, 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 and other sounds. So, yeah. I was in the cellar with my family and my grandmother, my older sister, who didn't dare go up. And my dad came back and he said, the Tommies are coming, come with me. So I said, I want to go. So I went with him to the main street in Velp, where the tanks were coming past with the military throwing out candies.
You remember all that?
I remember that last part, yeah.
So, used to be 2nd Battalion Parachute Regiment back in the day, left in 2006. Whilst I was there, I ended up sort of competing for Great Britain in bobsleigh. So I ended up sort of going to a few Olympic Games representing the nation. Come away 1998 with Olympic bronze medal. So at the moment there now, we're just coming out to just celebrating the 80th anniversary down in Arnhem. It's absolutely brilliant here. 1982, when I first joined, a young sprog at 18 years old, I ended up sort of, well, when I got to depot, find out that I was going to be filmed through my training. So yeah, and the cameras were there every single day, going through training. And you know what, right? It's actually quite good sort of looking back at it and seeing what we actually did, and it was actually brilliant to do that, you know, absolutely brilliant. It's, you know what, it's hard to explain, you know what I mean, what it is really like, because obviously we are sort of steeped in history, massive history, and this is just one of them parts of those things. 80 years on, absolutely brilliant, where you come to a place where we're celebrating an achievement, a massive achievement in the war of the liberation of Holland, really.
How the Dutch people made you feel?
You know what, right? I've come here on many occasions, and every year or every time I come here, it's just they are so friendly. And what is really nice is that you see the kids from mega young all the way up to, and they so much respect what we have done or what our brothers have done back in the day. And they are so. It's just a brilliant place to be. It really is. And I would advise anybody to come and enjoy themselves here. You know, I really would.
My grandparents owned the Pegasus pub in Aldershot in the 50s and 60s, and my dad grew up there, and I grew up in London, but I must have seen the Paras, and I wanted to emulate it and join them. So I got in at 17. I joined the Paras at 17.
Oh, it's amazing. It's like being part of like regimental history. So you've got guys from across different generations, from the Falklands, from sadly not that many World War II anymore, but all the way up to our current generation, sort of Iraq and Afghanistan. And it's just wonderful. It's like living in regimental history.
I mean, I met a chap earlier. He actually was in Borneo in the 60s, and he knew my grandmother, who worked in Aldershot for 28 years with 216 Signal Squadron. And we bumped into it, and he goes, "Oh, I remember your grandmother, Mrs. S." And he was like, "Yeah, I remember her." And you meet people of all different ages, generations, but you have a bond. There's one brotherhood bond between everybody, which is the Airborne thing, and we all get on, and it's like coming home. Coming to Arnhem is like coming home. You know, you just meet everybody, and you meet people the first time, and you make friends for life, even though you didn't serve together. You make friends for life after meeting them in Arnhem, and Arnhem is just it's like like a convention for Airborne brotherhood. It's lovely. It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. It's good, isn't it?
It is.
Three power. Airborne.
The tab from Aldershot to Arnhem was conceived on the 40th anniversary of the battle, and the first one took place in 1986. So the tab involves a team of guys, Remy guys. We tab from Aldershot to Arnhem via Colchester, Harwich, whatever, to pay our respects to the guys that went before us and inspired us to do what we do now.
So back in 2019, when it was the 75th anniversary, I'd done that tab before with these guys. I thought it'd be a good idea to resurrect it, but with all the veterans. And we decided to march all the way and try and raise money for charity. So support our paras was the main one. And so I got around these guys, asked them if they were interested, and they were. That's back in 2019. We did it in 2019 with 19 of us, and this year, 5 years later, we've done it nearly the same guys and a few more. So we've done 23 guys, all Airborne Remy veterans, aged from 55 to 70, have tabbed all the way from Aldershot to here, 248 miles.
then when Mackenzie had gone down to Nijmegen and met Brown.
I didn't fight you. I'm only 19. When I first joined in '48, my senior NCOs were mostly from here because I joined 9 Independent Airborne Squadron. And I was so amazed at these wonderful people, John Humphreys, Harold Padfield, and people like that, that I've laid a wreath today on behalf of those. John Humphreys died at 102. He was the last of the sappers who crossed the river. And I feel very honoured and proud to just be here and say, God bless. There isn't much else to say other than I feel humble being in their presence. Well, 299 meet at Wakefield in Yorkshire, and I live not too far away, and we started the Airborne Engineers Association, and we asked if we could have our meetings at 299's barracks, and from that moment on we've all been a family, and 299 have looked after the Airborne Engineers Association, and all part and parcel of the same family. It's very difficult to explain. You get a lump in your throat when you go and lay the wreath, you get a lump in your throat when you hear the stories. I just feel proud that I'm still here.
So I'm originally from Yorkshire, but my current job is Commander Field Army. So I'm here to join the commemorations of the 80th anniversary of Operation Market Garden. So it's an immense privilege. I was lucky enough yesterday to parachute onto the drop zone at Ginkle Heath, which is quite something. It was a number of years since my last jump, and a number of the senior Army officers, we all jumped together, which is fantastic, sort of part of that Airborne brotherhood. So it's been an overwhelming weekend really of both pride and sorrow for the losses, but overwhelmingly pride to celebrate the airborne forces in the round, and frankly the relationship we have with Holland, and particularly this part of Holland. It's been incredible. Well, I think soldiers are inevitably tough, especially airborne and commando soldiers. You know, they volunteer once, they volunteer again for that level of training. But of course soldiers are hugely sentimental, and you can't look around the graves of our forebears here and not be touched by their sacrifice. And the levels of commitment that they show to commit to such a daring and audacious operation is truly awe-inspiring.
Well, I'm here representing the Royal Canadian Engineers, and specifically our 2nd Combat Engineer Regiment, and a unit within that regiment is the 23rd Field, who participated back in World War II in the Operation Berlin, the culminating aspect of the Market Garden battle, with the recovery of the airborne troops across the Rhine. By virtue of their position, the 23rd, my squadron, were positioned across from the old church in the area of that monument on the south bank at Driel. And of the 2,400 or so that were recovered, 2,138 of them were recovered by that one squadron, to great cost to that squadron. And this is my 4th time here, and not jumping this time, but very honoured to be here. Well, I have that connection. It is quite emotional, but also I'm British. I was in the British Army before I joined the Canadian Army. Total service 39 years. But my uncle was one of the UK's first paratroopers, and he was in 16 Field Am, but he jumped into North Africa, Sicily, and was captured at Arnhem, and he's mentioned in many of the books, such as Red Berets and Red Crosses. But much to his chagrin, I guess, he was on the seaborne tail for Arnhem. and he ended up getting out ahead of that column, which was, under horrendous attack, trying to get to his friends here, and was still captured. And he is documented as one of the first airborne soldiers to be in the stalag that they moved the paratroopers to, that were captured after the battle. And he was a corporal, but he met up with his boss in the prisoner war camp called Sergeant Jack Bellamy, who has a tablet in the Hartenstein Museum. And many letters have been exchanged between my father and some gentlemen in 16 Field Am who know my uncle. So it's emotional for me for two parts. Proud to be here as a Canadian and proud of my uncle's service.
At 11 o'clock, the 80th Airborne Memorial Service.
Heel graag nog één keer omhelzen, maar in plaats daarvan en de bloemen die je in je handen hebt, hou ze omhoog als teken van respect voor onze veteranen. Now lay your flowers with the flowers on the grass.
The trip was brilliant this year. Weather's been with us. It's been a great time looking after the lads at 299. Oh, it's a beautiful ceremony. Yeah, the Princess Royal was there, and the King of Holland was there. So it was good. Yeah. Yeah, when we're in the graveyard, it's always emotional, especially when the children come and lay the flowers. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it's such an honour for us to see them lay them, for our ex-comrades. Yeah, 299 we do a pilgrimage every year. We come and we like it, we enjoy ourselves, so I don't see that ending very soon.
We're in a good position to get up. You're not going to give respect. Hey, Chippers. Alright, lads. Alright, my mates. How are we? Alright, okay. Nice to see you. Really good day. Really good.
It's been an absolute pleasure and honour to be here today. Really, really enjoyed it. Nice that the royal family could have, and Princess Anne there as well, which was very respectful, yeah, very much indeed. Yeah, it was a great day. Everybody enjoyed it.
Yeah, I just like to say, which is always touching, which always makes the hairs stand up on my back of my neck and fills me up. You know, when the children come on and put the flowers, you know, on the graves, and it just makes the full weekend for me. That there's so much respect there for all the people that have lost their lives. You know, all them years ago. They're not forgotten.
It's been amazing. Yeah, what an organised weekend. Really, really pleased to be here. Fantastic chance to pay our respects to the brave men that did die for us and that continue to die for us. And I think it's so important to keep that memory going. It's just the way the Dutch get involved, isn't it? They're so involved. The kids. I think when the kids gave out the flowers, that was unbelievable, and it just makes you think, that it would be really good if they could do that in this country, coming from the schools, that is, and just the education that it's given them about how awful tyranny is.